I am Catherine Maritz. I am working at IOL. I was requested to do another presentation for mathematics NM31 just because of the reason that some students came to me and asked for more information. So we've thought that the information that I gave to the other students should also be given to all the students. I will do a lot of the presentation with regards to the presentation that is there already, done by the tutor, Ms. Lloyd Chifula Dama. It is an excellent presentation. So in the first place, I want to ask you that when you prepare for the examination, go through the presentation, go through your 2018 assignment, go through the April question paper, do it, also the August question paper. Now I will start with numbers. It is on Ms. Dama's, Lloyd Chifula Dama's presentation. It is on page 3. It is with regards in the first place to prime numbers. Now prime numbers are numbers with only one pair of factors, of which number 1 is 1. For example, 2. 2 is a prime number. You can see it is highlighted here. 2 is a prime number. You can see that only 1 times 2 gives me 2. The next one is 3. Only 1 times 3 gives me 3. Why not 4? Because it's 1 times 4 as well as 2 times 2. 5 is a prime number. Only 1 times 5. And now I can go on. You will see the shaded ones are the first prime numbers. But will be very good if you memorize at least the first 10. So you have to say, okay, it's 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, 17, 19, 23, 29. If you know that, it will make it much easier for you. There are often questions with regards to numbers that they ask you for a prime number, to choose a prime number out of a number of numbers given. The next group of numbers, square numbers. Memorize your first 13. What are square numbers? It's a number multiplied by itself. And remember that 1 is also a square number because 1 times 1 gives me 1. The second one, 4, because 2 times 2 gives me 4. Next one, 9. 3 times 3 is 9. 4 times 4, 16. 25, 36, 49, 64, 81, 100, 121, 144, 169. Those are the first 13 square numbers. Then, okay, just to interrupt myself, they often ask it in sequences. So when they ask you to complete a sequence, they sometimes give you 1, 4, 9 dots and dots. Then if you realize, okay, square numbers, this is square numbers, 1 times 1, 2 times 2, 3 times 3, then it's easy to write down the 16, because 4 times 4, and the 25, because 5 times 5. Cube numbers is a number multiplied by itself 2 times. So 1 is again the first cube number, because 1 times 1 times 1 gives me 1. 2 times 2 times 2 gives me 8. 3 times 3 times 3 gives me 27. 4 times 4 times 4, 64. So you can go on and memorize at least the first 10 cube numbers. So 1 times 1 times 1, so it's 1, 8, 27, 64, 125, 216, 343, 512, 729, 1000. It's also often asked in sequences. For example, they can say, complete the sequence with the next 2 numbers, and they give you 1, 8, 27. If you don't know your cube numbers, this sequence will be very difficult for you, because you can think, okay, 1 plus 7 gives me 8, 8 plus 7, it doesn't work. 1 times 8 gives me 8, but 8 times, no, it doesn't work. If you don't know your cube numbers, you will not be able to do this one. And it's easy marks. Now we go to factors. The factors of a number, it's always a specific number. It's a limited number. There can only be a certain number of factors in a number. For example, the factors of 10 is 1, 2, 5, and 10. Now, how did I get that? 1 times 10 gives me 10. 2 times 5 gives me 10. It means that 1, 2, 5, and 10 are the factors for the number 10. Prime factors. Sometimes they ask you for prime factors of a number. So when they ask me for the prime factors of 10, and you know your prime numbers, you will realize that, okay, 2 is a prime number, 5 is a prime number, so the prime factors for 10 are 2 and 5. The highest common factor, the highest number that can be divided into the given numbers. For example, the highest common factor for 16 and 24, this should be 16, not 26. This one is 16. So 1 times 16 gives me 16, 2 times 8 gives me 16, and 4 times 4 gives me 16. 24, 1 times 24 gives me 24, 2 times 12, 3 times 8, and 4 times 6. So the factors of 24 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 12, and 24. Now the highest common factor is the first one from the right to the left, which will be 8. This is how you find the highest common factor. Where do we use highest common factors? To simplify fractions and ratios. For example, those two. Multiples. Multiples are infinite. It doesn't stop. So the multiples of 2 will be 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, etc. And you know that you can go on and on and on and on. So multiples doesn't stop. We sometimes use the lowest common multiple. Lowest common multiple is the multiple of 2 or more numbers where they meet, when they are the same, when they are similar. So when I have to find the lowest common multiple, for example, for 6 and for 8, I start counting. Normally, if you write down 6 will be enough, but sometimes it is still not enough. So you start with the multiples 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, and 8, 8, 16, 24. And now you realize, oh, I already had a 24. So 24 is the first one, the lowest one that are similar. So 24 will be the lowest common multiple. So lowest common multiple is used when you have to add or subtract fractions. That was with regards to numbers. So if you memorize your numbers, those that I gave you, the first 10 prime numbers, the first 10 square numbers, the first 10 cube numbers, it will already go better with you. Okay, money and finance. It's on the presentation, pages 4 and 5. Learn, study, memorize the formula for simple interest. Simple interest is principal times rate times time over 100, where the principal is the amount, the amount that you invest or that you deposit. The rate, for example, 5%, and T is for the time. But if you memorize this, it will be easy for you to calculate the interest. And then they often ask you to calculate the interest of for a certain amount, and then after that they ask you what will the total amount be. We will do one example of that. So the total amount will be the principal, that is the amount that you started with, plus the interest earned. We will first do the interest. Jay invests 3,000 Namibian dollars at a rate of 7% for 6 years. What is the amount of interest she will receive? Now, you should remember interest is principal times rate times time over 100. So it will be 3,000, the principal amount, times the rate, 7%, times the time, 6 years, over 100. Then you calculate that. I'm going to calculate it using a scientific calculator. 1260. And put in the Namibian dollar sign. I always say put on the lipstick before the woman leaves the house. She put on the lipstick, also give your answers. Nicely done. Not like mine now. It's not looking nice. Okay, and then the next question, what is the total amount after the 6 years? So it is the principal. It was $3,000 plus the interest, which is 1260, and the total amount will be 4,260. Now, hire purchase. Hire purchase is the deposit plus the number of months times the amount, the monthly amount, the amount to pay every month. Let's do an example. John pays a deposit of $50 on a DVD player and 12 monthly installments of $25 each. What is the total amount John pays for the DVD player? Now, what I found is that learners, students often forget to add the deposit. Remember, the deposit is part of the amount that will be paid. So it will be the deposit of 50 plus 12 installments of $25 each. Now 12 times 25 gives me 300 plus the deposit. So the total will be $350. Now we go to measure of central tendency statistics. It's on page 5 of the presentation. There we have the 3 M's, the mean, mode, and the median. Now what do they mean by mean? The mean is another word for average. And normally, especially teachers know how to calculate the average. It's the sum of all the values divided by the total number of values. So if you have 30 learners in the class, they receive different marks for mathematics. You will add all those marks and divide it by the number of learners, which is 30. The mode. The mode is the number that appears most. So it's easy to remember. Mode, most. 3 types of modes. Examples. For example, if you have numbers like 10, 8, 9, 10, 8, 7, 5, 4, 8, you can see that the 8 appears 3 times and the mode is 8. If you have numbers like 7, 7, 6, 3, 8, 5, 3, 9, the 7 is twice as well as the number 3. So there are 2. So the mode is 3 as well as 7. And when there are only one of a number, like the example 16, 14, 21, 19, 16, 17, 24, there is no mode. Also when every number appears twice, it will be no mode. So the answer can be 1, or it can be 2, maybe 3 if it's a lot of numbers, or no mode. The median is the number exactly in the middle of the numbers. Now for the median, but it will be good also for the mode, to arrange the numbers from the smallest to the biggest. For the median, you have to do that. So you arrange them from the smallest number to the biggest number, and then you write the one that is exactly in the middle. Let's take a lot of numbers. I'm going not. It's 1, 5, 7, 8, 3, and 9. If I have this lot of numbers and I have to find the median, in the first place I have to arrange them from the smallest to the biggest. So 1 is the smallest, 2, 3, 5, 7, 8, and 9. Now, which one is in the middle? If it is an odd number of numbers, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's an odd number of numbers. There will be 1 in the middle. What you do, cancel, 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 cancel. So 5 is the median. It's the one exactly in the middle. If you have an even number of numbers, I'm going to arrange them from the smallest to the largest from the beginning. So for instance, it's 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, and 8. You can see it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 numbers, which is an even number of numbers. To find the median now, also cancel, cancel, cancel. Now you have 2 in the middle. What you do, you add the 2 in the middle. You see it's 9, and divide it by 2, by 2. So the answer will be 4,5. That's the median. You will remember your 3 N's, mean, mode, and median. Also easy marks. Rounding off. There's a specific method that I always use when I teach people, learners, students to round off. Say for instance they give me a number and they say round off 3,472,9 to the nearest 10. In the first place, you should, if you read 10, you should realize, okay, I have to round off to the nearest 10. Which one is the 10? Now, the comma is there. This one is units, tens, hundreds, thousands. This one is a tenth. So what they ask me is to round off to the nearest 10. Now I draw an arrow at the top of the 10. So when I round off, 7 will stay 7, or it can change to 8, depending to the number on the right-hand side of the 7. So the number on the right-hand side of the 7 is 2. If the number, in this case it's 2, is less than 5, 7 will stay 7. But say for instance the 2 was a 5, then the 7 would have changed to an 8. But in this case it's only 2. You use your rounding off sign and you use the number, it's 3,407, and it changes to a 0. You can put in this, but this is fine. The next one, round off to the nearest 100. important to realize, now I have to round off to the nearest hundredth. So it's units, tens, hundreds, thousands. So the hundred is there. So again, the one on the right-hand side of the hundred will decide about the hundred's future. So in this case, it's a 7. It's more than 5. So the 4 will change to 5. Let's do that one. So it is 3, 5, 0, 0. So if the number on the right-hand side is less than 5, the one on the left side will stay the same. If it's 5 and more, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, it will change to the next number. Like in this case, like the 4 changed to a 5. The third one, round off to the nearest 1,000. I realize, okay, 1,000. Now I have to look for the 1,000. Units, tens, hundreds, thousands. So this one has to be rounded off. This one will decide about that one's future. This is less than 5, so it will stay 4. Less than 5, so that one will stay 3. So the answer is 3,000. I hope you understand that. Now we start with algebra. It's on the presentation on pages 6, 7, 8, and 9. The first topic that we will do in algebra is factorization. Now, when you read factorization or factorize the following, you should think brackets. When you factorize, you use brackets always. In the first one, okay, there are different types of factorization. You always look for the common factor in the first place. Then there's another type, difference between two squares. It's always two terms, and remember, difference. So it's a minus sign, difference between two square numbers, like a square minus b square, or a square minus 4b square. It's difference between two squares, always two terms. Quadratic trinomials, always three terms. It is, for example, x squared plus 5x plus 6. And then the fourth one is grouping. Normally not asked in your question papers. We are going to do the common factor first. We have 4x plus 6y. The common factor. I first have a look at my numbers. What is the common factor of 4 and 6? Which number divides exactly into 4 as well as into 6? I use my brackets. Can you see that it is 2? 4 cannot be divided into 6 without a remainder. So the number will be 2. Then I look at the variables. It's x and y. So they are not common. So 4 divided by 2 gives me 2. The x stays there, plus 6 divided by 2 gives me 3, and the y stays there. And that is that. This expression is factorized. The next one, difference between two squares. The example is an easy one, a squared minus b squared. Difference, it's a minus sign. It's a square and a square. This one normally is the easiest. Lekker om te doen. So, two pairs of brackets. A, B, B. Plus, minus, and that's it. So, when I multiply them out, I should get that answer. Let's do that. A times A gives me A squared. A times B, negative B, gives me negative AB. B times A gives me positive AB. And B times negative B gives me minus B square. Now, if I have one sweet and I eat one sweet, I have nothing. So what remains is this. So after you have factorized, you will always get the original answer. You can test it. So if you want to test this one, the first one, 2 times 2 is 4x, 2 times 3 is 6y. Then we come to quadratic trinomials. Oh, was it the fair? X squared plus 5x plus 6. Okay, I'm all right. It's x squared plus 5x plus 6. Quadratic trinomials, try 3, always 3 terms. Okay, 2 pairs of brackets. Now I look, there's an invisible 1 in front of the x. So the factors for 1 is 1 times 1. I look at the factors for the 1 as well as for the 6. 1 times 6 gives me 6. 2 times 3 gives me 6. But when I add it, it's a plus. I have to get 5, positive 5. If I test, 1 times 2 is 2, 1 times 1 is 1, 2 plus 1 gives me 3. No, it's not 5. Okay. 1 times 3 is 3, 1 times 2 is 2, 2 plus 3 gives me 5. So it will be x, 2, and 3, plus and plus. Do the smiley test. 2x plus 3x gives me 5x. And this is the answer for that one. Now, linear equations. A linear equation has a equal sign between 2. So you will get the equation and you will have to solve the value of the unknown given. Linear equations has only one unknown. Let me just start. Okay, the first one looks like this. It's x plus 5 is 12. Now I have to do my calculations, and in the end I should have x is so many. Now what do I do? To get x on its own, you will have to remove the 5. How are you going to remove the 5? You subtract 5. So it will be x plus 5 minus 5. So that you have x alone. What you do on this side, you also do on this side. So x plus 5 minus 5 is x. 12 minus 5 gives you 7. As easy as that. So if it is addition, you use subtraction. Number 2, 3a plus 12 is 21. 3a plus 12 is 21. Now it's a little bit more complicated, but not difficult. 3a, if you carefully look at it, you will not, to see the invisible multiplication sign. So 3a means 3 times a. The opposite calculation of multiplication is division. So you are going to use division to solve that, to get a on its own. But let's start from the beginning. I see I have a 12 there. I'm going to subtract the 12. But I do on this side, I do on this side. So what remains? That one is cancelled. So 3a is 21 minus 12. It gives me 9. Now I have multiplication. 3 times a is 9. I use the opposite calculation for multiplication, which is division. I divide by 3. What I do on this side, I do on the other side. Cancel, cancel. So a is equal 9 divided by 3 is 3. The next one, 2x minus 4 is 10. It's subtraction. So I have to get rid of this minus 4. I have to put in a plus 4. So if I add 4 on this side, the 4 can be cancelled. What I do on this side, I should do on this side. So 2x is equal to 10 plus 4, 14. It's multiplication again. Opposite calculation is division. Divide by 2. Not because I like 2, but because there is a 2, so that I can cancel. What I do on this side, I do on this side. So x is equal to 7. The fourth one is 6x minus 15 equals 3x plus 3. Now I have 2. I want to have my unknowns on the left side and my numbers on the right hand side. So this one has to go to that side. This one has to go to that side. So it's first start with x. So 3x. If I want to remove the 3x there, I will subtract 3x there so that I can cancel. And I will have to, the same what I do on this side, subtracted 3x, I also subtract 3x there. 3 stays. I have to add 15 to that to have 15 cancelled. I do the same on this side, add 15. Now you will start realizing that if I have something like this, 6x is positive, the 3x is there. When it goes to that side, it's a minus, it's positive. Next to the equal sign, it's negative. It's negative, 15 is negative there. It changes to positive. It does not really change. What actually happens is what I showed you. If I add 15, there 2. So 3x is equal to 18. It's multiplication. I will use division so that I can cancel the 3 to get the x on its own. So x is equal to 6. Number 5. Number 5 is looking like this. It has brackets, the first one with brackets. The first step always when there are brackets is to remove the brackets. Now, how do we remove the brackets? In Afrikaans, I always call it the swinkie somme. So, if I went away from my home and I return home, I am the 3. My husband is the 5 and my child is the 2. So, I greet my husband, and it's 15x. I greet my child, remember it's negative, 3 times negative 2 is negative 6, is equal to 9. Now, this one has to go to that side, or not this one, I have to add on this side, I add on this side. So 15x is equal to 9 plus 6. 15x is equal to 15. I divide by 15 so that I can cancel that 15. What I do on this side, I do on this side. So x is equal to 1. Not so difficult. The next one, number 6. has two pairs of brackets. It's looking like this, number 6. It is 7, 5x minus 2 is 6, 6x minus 1. I kiss my husband, 7 times 5, 35x. I kiss my child, 7 times negative 2 is minus 14. I greet my husband, 6 times 6, 36x. I greet my child, 6 times negative 1 is negative 6. I want my unknowns on the left side and my numbers on the right hand side. It can be the other way around, but I prefer to have it left, my unknown, and to the right hand side the number. So 35x minus 36x is equal to minus 6 plus 14. It gives me negative 1x is equal to 8. I divide by negative 1 so that it changed to a positive. The unknown should always be positive, the x or a or b or c. And the answer is negative 1, so it is negative 8. Oh, it's not very neat. Sorry. And then the last one, I'm going to do the last one on this paper, is 3/4 y is equal to 6. The unknown, in this case the y, should always be 1. 3/4 is not 1. So this is 3/4. What will I do to make it 1? I will have to multiply by 3 so that I can cancel. Can you see? What I do on that side, I do on this side. I multiply with 4, sorry. So 3y is equal to 24. It's multiplication. I use division. So y is equal to 8. So those were the linear equations.